Hey, fam. It's Maddy, and I have some alarming news. After my last post, I've been getting tons of emails about Sneaky Peaky. I knew my gut feeling was right. He's still out there. I want to share the two most alarming and recent encounters. It's crucial you guys are up to date on what's happening. We need to stop this sicko before he can do any more damage. The first account is from someone named Amanda. Here's her story. Hey, Maddy. My name's Amanda. I'm 21 and live in this old farmhouse on a super isolated road in the countryside with my roommate, Kate. Recently, a carnival circus came to our town. Given the lack of excitement around here, Kate, Loretta, and I decided to check it out. As we wandered around, this one clown began to stand out. He walked with a noticeable limp and had this vibrant green hair. But it was his thickly caked-on makeup and the intensity of his gaze that really unsettled us. Throughout the evening, we noticed him following us from a distance. Every time we looked his way, he was there, watching, especially fixated on Kate. Now I have to admit, Kate was quite the looker. 5'5" with blonde hair and a perfect figure. Let's just say she's used to getting attention, but this felt different, more intense. We tried to brush it off, thinking maybe he was just trying to be entertaining in a creepy clown way. But now that I think of it, Maddy, she kind of looks a lot like you from the picture I saw. Anyway, we tried to forget about it and have a good time. Later, Kate went to use a porta-potty. When she opened the door to come out, she was met with the clown's leering face, just inches away from her. His eyes bore into hers, and he began to move closer, as if trying to corner her inside. The twisted grin on his face made it clear he was enjoying her fear. As she started screaming, he slowly backed off, his grin never fading, and then he vanished into the crowd. She came running to Loretta and me, clearly shaken by the encounter. I genuinely thought he was just some jackass trying to play a prank on us, so I did my best to calm Kate down. Loretta, who's always been the more alpha and protective type, was fuming. She clenched her fists and promised to tear his balls off if we saw him again. Trying to put the creepy encounter behind us, we had a few more drinks and decided to check out the live band that was playing. The music and the atmosphere helped distract us, and as the night wore on, we had almost forgotten about the clown. By the time we decided to leave, it was late, around 2 a.m. The carnival was winding down and most of the attendees had already left. As we made our way out to the parking lot, I quickly realized I was the only sober one. Kate and Loretta were both pretty lit up from the tequila shots we had earlier. I felt like I was babysitting them, trying to guide them straight and prevent them from tripping over their own feet. The parking lot was nearly empty. Most of the cars had already left, and our spot was unfortunately located quite a distance away, close to a wooded area. The dim lights from the carnival barely reached this far, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and merge with the trees. As we neared the car, my eyes caught a quick movement in the bushes. A distinct splash of bright green peeked through the darkness. My heart raced as I thought of the clown from earlier, the one who had been so fixated on Kate. I halted the girls mid-parking lot, my voice barely above a whisper. I think I saw something. Over by the bushes, bright green, like that clown's hair. Kate's face drained of color. Her eyes widened, and being drunk only heightened her anxiety. She began to panic and swear loudly, her breaths coming in short, rapid gasps. Loretta, on the other hand, reacted with pure anger. "That creep again?" she growled. Without a second thought, she charged towards the bushes, fists clenched, ready to confront whoever was lurking there. "I'm gonna beat the ever-loving crap out of this guy," she shouted. Loretta was no pushover. She was tall and built strong, and when she was mad, she was a force to be reckoned with. But the clown was tall and wiry, and there was no telling if he was armed. The thought scared the crap out of me. "Loretta, come back!" I screamed, but she was already at the car, yelling challenges and insults, calling him a perv clown, and daring him to come out. There was more rustling in the bushes, but we never got a clear look at whoever was there, except for that brief flash of green. Loretta, fueled by adrenaline and alcohol, stood her ground. She stood defiantly at the bushes, ready to take on any threat. She motioned for us to hurry to the car. Kate and I didn't need any more prompting. We sprinted to the vehicle, our footsteps echoing in the silent night. Once inside, I revved the engine and sped away, leaving the eerie parking lot and its lurking shadows far behind. After dropping Loretta off, Kate and I headed back to our place. The night had been unsettling enough, but as I pulled into the garage, something caught my eye that made my heart race even faster. There, discreetly attached to the back of the car, was an Apple AirTag. I knew exactly what it was, a tracking device. I didn't want to alarm Kate any further, especially after the night we'd had. So without drawing attention to it, I discreetly bent down, pretending to adjust my shoe, and snatched the AirTag. Using the heel of my boot, I crushed it against the pavement, ensuring it was completely destroyed. We headed inside, and I helped Kate to her room. She was still pretty shaken up, and the alcohol wasn't helping. I made sure she was comfortable and then headed to my own room. The weight of the night's events pressed heavily on me, but eventually exhaustion took over, and I drifted into a restless sleep. The next morning, the sun's rays filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow over the room. Kate was sprawled out on the couch, nursing a hangover, and scrolling through her Instagram. She had a massive following, always posting about our adventures and her daily life. But today, her face turned pale as she scrolled. "Look at this," she said, her voice trembling. I moved closer and saw that an account named Sneaky Peaky had bombarded her posts with comments. The same chilling message was repeated over and over. "Found you, Katie." Every single one of her over 1,000 posts had been targeted. The audacity of this guy was beyond comprehension. Kate tried to access the Sneaky Peaky account, but it was set to private. However, the profile picture was visible, and it sent a chill down our spines. It was him, that unmistakable face with the thick, caked-on white makeup, the shock of bright green hair, the oversized red nose, and that eerie, almost ear-to-ear painted red smile. The very sight of it made our stomachs turn. "I can't believe this," Kate whispered, her fingers trembling as she held her phone. "It's definitely him." I nodded, feeling a mix of anger and fear. "We need to report this to the police. They need to know about this creep." Kate agreed, but there was another pressing concern. I had to work that afternoon, and as much as I wanted to stay with Kate, I couldn't afford to miss my shift. Rent was due, and every penny counted. "Are you sure you'll be okay here?" I asked, handing her our house bottle of pepper spray and pointing to the baseball bat we kept by the door. She tried to muster a brave face. "I called my boyfriend. He's coming over, but he won't be here until later tonight." She promised to call the police and file a report, and if anything odd happened, she would call me right away. I left for work, my mind racing with worry. The hours seemed to drag on, and every time my phone buzzed, I jumped, hoping it was Kate checking in. It was around 9 p.m., with 2 more hours left in my shift, when my phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Kate's boyfriend. I answered immediately. "Hey, is everything okay?" His voice was frantic. "I'm at the house, but there's no sign of Kate." The back door is wide open, and there are these massive tire tracks, like someone was doing donuts with a monster truck right in the backyard. I went inside, and the place reeks of pepper spray. It looks like there was a struggle. The house is trashed. I rushed home as soon as Kate's boyfriend called. The sight that greeted me was horrifying. The living room was in shambles, furniture overturned, and glass shattered everywhere. But what chilled me to the bone was the message on the wall. In bright green spray paint, the words "Found you, Katie" were scrawled in a manic, uneven style. We immediately called the police and told them everything, from the creepy clown at the carnival to the disturbing messages on Kate's Instagram. But when we tried to show them the Sneaky Peaky account, it had already been deleted. The officers went to the carnival grounds to inquire, but the staff was of little help. They claimed they had no clowns matching that description, and pointed out that with Halloween around the corner, many attendees were in costumes. It was possible he was just a regular attendee. The tire tracks in our backyard were another mystery. The officers said they were consistent with those of a behemoth pickup truck, Not the kind of vehicle you'd expect someone like Sneaky Peaky to drive, although it would have been perfect for navigating the rough wooded terrain by our place. The next 48 hours were a blur of worry and fear. Kate was nowhere to be found, and every lead seemed to hit a dead end. I couldn't eat or sleep, and every time the phone rang, I hoped it was news about Kate. Then I stumbled upon your story, Maddy, and my heart sank. The description of Sneaky Peaky, especially the limp from the gunshot, matched perfectly. It had to be the same guy. The realization that he had been stalking other girls before Kate made me feel sick. I'm sharing our story in hopes that someone out there might have seen something or knows anything about Kate's whereabouts. My best friend is missing, and I'm terrified for her. If you have any information about Kate or this Sneaky Peaky character, please, I beg you, come forward. We need to find her, and I'm praying with every fiber of my being that we can bring her home safely. Stay strong, Maddy. Amanda. This story hits pretty hard. I am praying for Kate, and I need all you guys to keep an eye out for anything that could help bring her home. We've got your back, Amanda. We're in this together. As if that story wasn't bad enough, the next is perhaps even worse. It's taking place as we speak. Now I'm going to read the next email, but brace yourself. It's quite disturbing. Hey Maddy, my name is Gina, and I think I have a pretty horrifying story to share with you. I'm a 25-year-old single mom living in Florida. My daughter, Haley, is 10. A few months ago, there was a clown convention in town, and with Haley's birthday around the same time, I thought it would be fun to check it out. I imagined we'd see some cool tricks, juggling, and just have a good time. While we were there, I got momentarily distracted by this one clown who was juggling flaming pinballs. It was mesmerizing. But when I turned back, my heart skipped a beat. Haley was walking towards me, hand in hand with another clown. He had bright green hair, a big red nose, and was wearing a polka-dotted onesie. The most noticeable thing about him, though, were his ridiculously oversized shoes, which made a clomping sound as he walked. It was clear he was favoring one leg, probably due to some injury. As they approached, Haley excitedly introduced him. "Mommy, this is Sneaky. He's a clown and he's my new friend." I was taken aback. In the mere 30 seconds I had been distracted, this clown had approached my daughter. At first, I tried to brush off my unease. He probably just wanted to make sure she was with a parent. So I told him it was okay to show Haley some tricks, but only if I was right there watching. I returned my attention to the juggling clown, but kept a watchful eye on Haley and Sneaky. Sneaky began with some basic tricks, like pulling a coin from behind Haley's ear and crafting a balloon animal. But as the minutes ticked by, I noticed his attention shifting more and more towards me. He'd lean down and whisper something in Haley's ear to keep her entertained, but his eyes were fixed on me, lingering in a way that made me uncomfortable. It was as if he was sizing me up, and every time our eyes met, there was an intensity in his gaze that I couldn't shake off. As I was trying to keep an eye on Haley and the clown, a man approached me. He leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. "That clown has been watching you for the last 30 minutes. It seemed kind of odd to me. I just thought you should know." A cold wave of realization washed over me. I discreetly observed Sneaky, and sure enough, his attention wasn't on Haley at all. He was staring right through her, his gaze fixed intently on me. Without causing a scene, I quickly collected Haley, making an excuse about needing to leave. I thought we had evaded Sneaky, but just as we were about to exit the convention, he suddenly appeared from around a corner. He bumped into me with such force that I was knocked to the ground. As I looked up, dazed, he made a silly clown face, mimicking Pikachu's shocked expression, and covered his mouth in feigned surprise. Before I could react, he scurried away quickly. As I was getting back on my feet, I realized my purse was missing. Panic set in as I remembered my car and house keys were inside. This was a nightmare. I immediately alerted the security, and they pulled up the camera footage. The video confirmed my worst fears. Sneaky had swiped my purse during our accidental collision. The security team searched the entire venue, but Sneaky had vanished. leaving no trace behind. I called my mom, who had an extra set of keys to my apartment. She picked up Haley and me, and we went back to my place. After the horrifying incident at the clown convention, I thought the worst was over. But when my mom and I reached my house, I found the front door unlocked. My heart raced as we cautiously entered, scanning each room for any signs of intrusion. At first glance, everything seemed in place. But when I went to my bedroom and checked my closet, my stomach dropped. My lingerie drawer had been completely emptied, and there, in the center of the drawer, was a chilling note. "Found you, Gina." I felt like the walls were closing in on me. The realization that this creep had been in my home and had gone through my personal belongings was too much to bear. I immediately searched for any information on this sneaky clown and stumbled upon your video on YouTube. Maddy, I'm terrified. Is he going to come after me like he did with you? I don't know what to do or who to turn to. Please, if you have any advice or information, I need it now more than ever. Desperately. Gina. I am not going to lie, fam. This situation is very serious. We all need to come together and support Gina. I know this might sound crazy, but I am thinking of flying to Florida to help Gina get through this. We spoke on the phone, and she's a wonderful girl struggling to support her daughter. And now this happens. It makes my stomach churn. I have nothing but contempt for this sicko Sneaky. I want you guys to know that I forwarded all your emails over to Detective Raleigh, who handled Sneaky's case, and to Gina, Amanda, and Kate. We are all praying for you guys. Stay safe, fam. I will try to get another update out soon. Your girl, forever and always, Maddy.